it's the finer things in life that really should make you appreciate the beauty of nature and what we have to offer. And you just, man, it's so easy to get lost in the pavement and electronics and in personal life than what you really can experience and obtain out here by just spending time outdoors.
Starting with a little off the top from the corner store. The funny thing about a little is you always want.
I think one unique thing about being out here in the outdoors for myself and for customers, is when you're out here in these remote areas and you're on a hunting trip, I mean, your mind's at ease. You're not thinking about the baggage at home or your work or home life or your finances or whatever it is. You're simply taking in and soaking in what nature has to offer. I'll build you a house with my own tools. I mean, I really think that, hunting and spending time outdoors is just the ultimate therapeutic way to spend your time, really. What better way to get out and enjoy what God's created for us than to be out here firsthand and just have your hands full of it. We offer many different types of hunting styles, primarily safari style, but we also do utilize blinds and watering holes, especially during the summer and for some of our less capable clients that aren't, as mobile as some might be. So we do have a few blind locations that we use pretty frequently. However, yesterday I came and checked this blind. I hadn't been in here in a few months and the wasps have completely taken it over, so we're gonna see if we can eliminate that problem right quick and clean it out in case we need it. I mean, guiding's a job of customer service. You've got to be able to fill out your customers that you're dealing with. I've been fortunate enough to guide several people on their first hunt ever and a few people on their last hunt ever. I mean, we've done everything from, youth hunts to very elderly hunts and a lot of wounded warrior hunts in between. I mean, it's a wide variety of things, really. You just got to be able to adapt to the circumstances and figure out how to fit the needs of your customer. There's so many different aspects to hunting. It's not all about trophy hunting. That's a lot of the stigma that's received when you think about hunting and outfitting, most especially. But truth be told, we do far more management hunts and youth hunts and stuff like that than what we even do trophy hunting. Trophy hunting is such a small portion of our business. I mean, the meat value in these animals and the herd management and the genetic management so that we don't have an overpopulation of deer or an inbred herd of deer. That management aspect is important as anything is. You've kind of got to look at the big picture when you think about outfitting and you think about hunting and why hunting is important. And hunting is conservation. Without hunting, I mean, we wouldn't have the wildlife in South Texas that we have now and the thriving population of trophy quality deer. It's truly been because of the tools that we've used through outfitting and hunting that we've built the empire that we have down here. So checking and repairing fences is a big part of what we do in the ranching outfitting world, whatever you want to call it, for several different reasons. But we're patching holes constantly, whether it's small predators coming in that we're trying to eliminate so that we don't have animal loss on our overall herd, or whether they're larger holes and we've actually got animals escaping on this fence line here, particularly this high fence. And we had a pretty big hole here, so we'd come and just kind of scabbed a piece of cattle panel on the back of it to patch this hole. This wire here is all pretty old and getting a little bit brittle. It's getting pretty close to time to rebuild this fence entirely, but the cost of rebuilding fence nowadays has gotten high, so we're going to milk it as long as we can and just patch what we need to and try to keep our animals in here. I'd had some nilgai in here about 2 or 3 months ago, and after a few weeks of not seeing them on camera, I figured I probably had some sort of an issue, so I came out and looked in kind of this back rougher country. We don't get back here quite as much, but found a big hole here and tracks coming in and out, and I'm pretty sure that they had escaped here. So we took this panel and patched it back up, and hopefully that'll keep the rest of the stuff in. Because of the size and diversity of Texas, you know, you can go to the East Texas, like Piney Wood Forest, or you can go down to, you know, Refugio, where we call home now, and it's all coastal plains, big grass fields, green almost all year long. Then you get into the hill country and you get, you know, not very great soil, a lot of rocky vegetation, a lot of cedar trees. Or you can get, you know, far west Texas and be back out in the mountains and kind of desert, arid climate. Being that everything is so diverse and that we lease country and a little bit all of these, the equipment that we use has got to be, you know, adaptable to the circumstances as well. So anything that we're looking to purchase and to utilize has got to be pretty adaptable to, you know, wherever we may take it. In the outfitting world and, you know, all over Texas, it's not always just the terrain that we deal with that we find difficulties in. I mean, it may be the physical capabilities of the hunter or their choice of equipment they use or lack thereof, or maybe even lack of knowledge in the gear selection that they bring. So as guides, I mean, we find it pretty important to make sure that we have everything that we need. Yeah, I mean, we're just straightening this fence up and picking the wires up over time. You know, they get a little pressed down as deer and cattle and stuff are crossing them, and so pick this wire back up and tie it, and we'll stretch it a little tighter. That way we can keep deer from crossing back and forth and just kind of keep things separated by pasture. Keep cattle from jumping fences and keep the wildlife from jumping fences as well, and just kind of be able to keep a little better tabs on what we have and what pastures. Part of the beauty and the curse of Texas is the size of it and the vastness and the diversity. We lease country pretty much all over Texas, from down south on the coast to, you know, far west Texas where we hunt elk and aoudad, and several places in between the two. But that being the case, I mean, I generally put, this truck's 3 years old and I got 150,000 miles on it, so 50 to 60,000 miles a year is pretty common. Just traveling ranch to ranch and trying to keep up with, you know, maintenance and stuff and getting ready for hunting season during each kind of course. The beauty of that is, you know, getting to see the variety and the diversity and never doing the same thing. You know, I don't know that I'd be cut out to sit in an office every day, but the curse of that is, you know, my wife's pregnant we're having a little girl Christmas, and I've got a 3.5-year-old, and I for sure spend more nights away from home than what I spend at home throughout the year. Just because, I mean, everything's so far away. Most of these leases outside of the Melon, our main ranch, most of those leases are too far to make day trips, so most of those trips turn into overnight or week-long stay, depending on what we're doing. The outfitting business, the hunting business, all of it, I mean, it really boils down to camaraderie. I like to think of it as like these guests are paying to come down here, and in their mind, it's a hunt, yes, but it's as much of a vacation, you know. So they're looking for the whole aspect, whether it's the meals or the lodging that are exceptional to them, or whether it's the experience that they have with a particular guide, or, you know, the knowledge that they obtain on different ranches while they're hunting. It's all about making it memorable and making it impactful to, you know, what they're taking away from this trip. The animal at the end of the day, yeah, it checks the box of a successful hunt or an unsuccessful hunt, but I've had customers that are more appreciative of their experiences while hunting with us than actually their animal that they harvested. Yeah, I think being in this industry, my goal for my little boy especially, but for my kids, is to make sure that I showed them what I was shown as a child, and that they have, you know, the fundamentals to make their own decision on what they want to do with their future. Whether Heston wants to get in the outfitting business, or whether he wants to go and get a law degree or a doctorate degree, whatever he wants to be, I support. This is what brings me happiness. So this is why outfitting is important to me, and I'll show that to him. And, you know, if he likes it, I'll give him the reins as soon as he's ready to take them.